Do you ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of yeses? Every time you turn around, there's another request, another demand, another, can you just? It's a common feeling, this pressure to say yes. We live in a world that glorifies busyness, where saying yes is seen as the path to success and connection. We're taught from a young age to be helpful, agreeable, to put others' needs before our own. But each yes comes at a cost. Every time we agree to something, we're saying no to something else, often our own needs and well-being. Constantly prioritizing others can leave us depleted, overwhelmed, and exhausted. We often tell ourselves that saying yes is the nice thing to do. We don't want to disappoint anyone or seem selfish, so we convince ourselves we can handle it all. But saying yes when we want to say no doesn't serve anyone. It leads to half-hearted efforts and growing resentment. It doesn't serve us because we're sacrificing our own well-being and risking burnout. This is the illusion of yes. Believing constant agreement leads to happiness, when it often leads to the opposite. So, what's the alternative? The answer is simple, yet often terrifying: the power of no. Saying no isn't about being selfish. It's about setting healthy boundaries and honoring our own needs. Our time and energy are precious, and we have the right to protect them. Learning to say no with confidence is a skill, and the rewards are immeasurable. When we say no to what doesn't serve us, we create space for what truly matters. We reclaim our time, our energy, and our lives. One of the biggest hurdles to saying no is the fear of disappointing others. We imagine the disappointment in their voices and hate to let people down. But constantly putting others first leads to resentment and burnout. Remember, you are not obligated to say yes to every request. It's okay to prioritize your own well-being. For many of us, the need for approval is so ingrained we don't realize it's driving our decisions. We crave validation, so we say yes even when our hearts say no. This constant need to please is exhausting and disconnects us from our authentic selves. True validation comes from within, by honoring our own needs and limits. The guilt trap whispers, "You should be able to do it all," or "You're selfish for putting yourself first." Guilt keeps us stuck in people-pleasing and self-sacrifice. But guilt is often based on unrealistic expectations, not our true values. Challenge those guilt trips. It's time to live a life aligned with your values, free from unnecessary guilt. Learning to say no is about self-care, not selfishness. When we say no to what doesn't serve us, we create space for what does: our passions, relationships, and well-being. Think of no as a complete sentence, a statement of self-respect. Reframing no as self-care empowers us to reclaim our lives. Imagine constantly juggling a million tasks, always saying yes. The initial rush fades, leaving you drained and exhausted. This is the path to burnout, a state of chronic stress that affects us physically, emotionally, and mentally. You might experience insomnia, irritability, or struggle to find joy in things you used to love. Saying yes to everything might seem like the path to success, but it can lead to breakdown. When we push beyond our limits, we sacrifice our well-being and our ability to show up fully. Protecting your energy is essential for a healthy, sustainable life. Every yes is a no to something else. Sometimes a quiet evening, sometimes a passion project or time with loved ones. When we're caught up in saying yes, we often miss out on what truly matters. We're so busy pleasing others that we neglect our own dreams. One day, we may wonder where the time went and why we didn't make different choices. Always saying yes can lead to regrets and a sense of lost potential. You might think saying yes all the time makes you a good friend or partner. but constantly putting others first can actually damage relationships. Resentment builds when you agree to things you don't want to do, and you may become emotionally checked out. Over time, this creates distance and unhealthy dynamics where your needs are overlooked. Healthy relationships require boundaries and mutual respect. The most insidious cost of always saying yes is losing touch with your true self. Prioritizing others' needs over your own erodes your values, desires, and priorities. You may find yourself agreeing with things you don't believe in, or suppressing your feelings to avoid conflict. Rediscovering your authentic self begins with the simple word no. By setting boundaries, you reclaim your power and your right to live authentically. Imagine your time and energy as precious resources you wouldn't just give away. Every unnecessary yes hands over a piece of those resources, leaving less for what truly matters. Saying no is an act of reclamation, taking back control of your schedule and well-being. This shift from depletion to replenishment can be transformative. When you protect your energy, you show up as your best self for what matters most. Saying no is a powerful way to establish healthy boundaries in all aspects of your life. Boundaries protect your well-being and create respect in relationships. They're not about shutting people out, but about communicating your limits clearly. At first, setting boundaries might feel uncomfortable, but they're essential for healthy relationships. When you're clear about your limits, you're less likely to feel resentful or taken advantage of. Respecting your own needs teaches others to do the same. Saying no creates space to say yes to your own goals and dreams. When you're not bogged down by others' agendas, you're free to pursue your passions and create a life aligned with your values. Often, it's not a lack of desire, but a lack of time and energy that holds us back. Saying no to what doesn't serve you lets you actively create the life you want. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values, you're saying yes to yourself. Honoring your needs and limits builds self-respect and confidence. When you prioritize your own needs, you develop a stronger sense of self-worth. This confidence radiates into all areas of your life, making you more assertive and willing to pursue what you want. In essence, saying no becomes a catalyst for personal growth and empowerment. Saying no doesn't have to be a confrontational or negative experience. In fact, with a little practice, you can master the art of the graceful no, a way of declining requests that is both assertive and kind. The key is to remember that you are not obligated to say yes to every request that comes your way, and that it's perfectly acceptable to prioritize your own needs and well-being. Start by acknowledging the request and expressing appreciation for being considered. A simple "thank you for thinking of me" or "I appreciate you asking" goes a long way in softening the blow of the no that follows. Avoid lengthy explanations or justifications, which can weaken your message and make you sound unsure of yourself. Instead, keep it brief and to the point, stating your no clearly and confidently. For example, instead of saying, "I'm so sorry, but I'm completely swamped right now, and I don't think I can take on anything else," try something like, "Thank you for offering, but I'm not able to commit to that right now." The first response comes across as apologetic and hesitant, while the second is direct, assertive, and leaves no room for misinterpretation. Of course, not all no's are created equal. The way you decline a request from your boss might be different from how you say no to a friend or family member. The key is to be mindful of the context, the relationship, and your own comfort level. In professional settings, it's important to maintain a professional demeanor and avoid sounding dismissive or disrespectful. If your boss asks you to take on a new project, for example, you might say something like, I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm currently at capacity with my current workload. If it's a priority, I'm happy to discuss reprioritizing some of my other tasks. With friends and family, you might be able to be more informal, but it's still important to be clear about your boundaries. If a friend invites you to an event you're not interested in, you could say, "Thanks for the invite, but I'm not really feeling up to it this time." Rain check? Remember, it's okay to say no even if you don't have a good reason. You don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting to spend your time and energy in a way that feels right for you. For many people, the biggest hurdle to saying no is the fear of conflict. We worry about disappointing others, damaging relationships, or being perceived as difficult or uncooperative. But the truth is, conflict is a natural part of life, and avoiding it altogether can actually be more harmful in the long run. When we avoid saying no out of fear of conflict, we often end up sacrificing our own needs and well-being in an attempt to keep the peace. This can lead to resentment, burnout, and a sense of being taken advantage of. It can also prevent us from having honest and authentic relationships, as we're constantly censoring ourselves and suppressing our true feelings. The key to overcoming the fear of conflict is to reframe it as an opportunity for growth and connection. When we approach difficult conversations with empathy, respect, and a willingness to listen, we can often find solutions that work for everyone involved. And even when disagreements arise, they can be an opportunity to deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. Setting boundaries is an essential part of self-care and healthy relationships. It's about communicating your limits and needs in a way that is both clear and respectful. Remember, you are not obligated to explain or justify your boundaries to anyone. When setting boundaries, it's important to be assertive but not aggressive. Use I statements to express your needs and feelings and avoid blaming or accusing others. For example, instead of saying, "You always expect me to drop everything and help you," try something like, "I'm not available to help with that right now, but I'm happy to talk about it another time." It's also important to be consistent with your boundaries. If you give in every time someone pushes back, you're sending the message that your boundaries are negotiable. Remember, you are not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. You are only responsible for communicating them clearly and respectfully. Learning to say no with confidence takes practice, and it's okay if you don't get it perfect right away. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. Every time you set a boundary, prioritize your own needs or decline a request that doesn't serve you, you're taking a step towards creating a more fulfilling and authentic life. It's also important to practice self-compassion throughout this process. You might feel guilty, selfish, or even a little bit scared when you first start saying no more often. That's perfectly normal. Just remember that you're doing this for a reason: to take back control of your time and energy, to honor your own needs, and to create a life that feels aligned with your values. As you continue to practice setting boundaries and saying no with confidence, you'll likely find that the guilt and fear start to fade, and a sense of empowerment and self-respect takes their place. You'll realize that no is not a negative word, but a powerful tool for creating a life you truly love. As we've explored throughout this journey, the power of no is not about closing doors or shutting people out. It's about opening ourselves up to a more authentic, fulfilling, and empowered way of living. It's about recognizing that our time and energy are precious resources and that we have the right to choose how we spend them. It's about setting healthy boundaries, honoring our own needs, and saying yes to the things that truly light us up. Embracing the power of no might feel daunting at first, especially if you're used to putting everyone else's needs before your own. You might worry about disappointing others, damaging relationships, or missing out on opportunities. But here's the truth. When you prioritize your own well-being, you actually become a better friend, partner, colleague, and human being. You have more to give, both to yourself and to those around you. Remember, saying no is not selfish. It's self-care. It's an act of self-respect, a statement that you value your time, your energy, and your overall well-being. And when you start respecting yourself, you teach others to do the same. Learning to say no is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when it feels easy and empowering, and there will be times when it feels scary and uncomfortable. There will be times when you say yes when you wish you had said no, and times when you say no, and then second-guess yourself. And that's okay. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. As you continue on this journey, remember to be kind to yourself. Celebrate your successes, big and small. Learn from your mistakes, but don't dwell on them. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it. Surround yourself with people who understand and respect your boundaries and who encourage you to live a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. The power of no is a gift that allows you to reclaim your time, your energy, and your life. It's a gift that unlocks your potential and empowers you to create a life that is truly your own. Embrace this gift and watch as your world transforms.